Well, in this video, we want to cover Giardia lamblia. So, you know what Giardia lamblia is? It's a parasite. It's actually a protozoa. That is, it's coming under the kingdom Protista. So, basically, Giardia lamblia is a protozoa. It's coming under the kingdom Protista. It is a flagellate protozoa. So, it has flagella, as you can see here. What else you should know? It is, that's all right. So it lives in the duodenum and jejunum, that is in the small intestine it lives. And it has flagella. Actually, it is the only protozoa parasite found in the lumen of small intestine, it seems. In the lumen of small intestine, this is the only parasite that is found, it seems. Protozoan parasite, that also. Oh. Protozoan parasite. Okay. So other parasites can be there. Okay. Fine. So this is the Giardia lamblia. This is how it looks. The way we have drawn it actually. So this is Giardia lamblia. It has a lot of flagella, right? 4 pairs of flagella. This is the front view. This is the lateral view. Like it's looking like a fish eating something, right? It's the lateral view. These are actually the sucking discs, suckling discs. They actually adhere to the small intestine with this. This is the cyst of Giardia lamblia. So here you have the trophozoite form and the cyst. Okay. So basically we are done with the introduction of Giardia lamblia. Let's move on now. Giardia lamblia history, actually it was first observed by Antony von Leeuwenhoek, that is he's a Dutch scientist. He saw this Giardia in his own stools, it seems. That means he had Giardiasis. Interesting. Okay, so this is actually the most common protozoan pathogen they are saying. So then what else? It is found more in tropics and subtropic areas. That was the history. Now the morphology. Let's go into the details of this Giardia lamblia morphology. Right? So basically there are 2 forms, the trophozoite form and the cyst form. So here you can see this. These are the trophozoite forms. This is the frontal view and this is the lateral view and this is the cyst. Okay. So basically look at the details about the trophozoite. The trophozoite is the vegetative form. It is a vegetative form. It is tennis racket shaped or heart shaped. Okay. Some people are saying pear shaped. What and all they are saying. So many shapes. People are like telling hundreds of shapes they are telling for this. Okay. Then it is anteriorly you can see it is kind of round and posteriorly it's kind of pointed. So it is a tennis racket shape they are saying. And it has suckling disc. You can see these are the suckling discs. This is the suckling disc by which it attaches to the intestinal mucosa. There are 4 pairs of flagella, 1 pair here, 1 pair here, 1 pair here and 1 pair here. So totally 4 pairs of flagella in Giardia lamblia. They all arise from something called as blepharoplast, it seems. Blepharoplast. If you want, you can remember that word. Then there's an axostyle. They are saying 2 pairs of axostyle are here. There's 1 axostyle here. There's 1 pair of axostyle. That means there are 2 axostyles they are saying. So there are 2 axostyles here. Can you see? Shall we zoom a little? Hold on. So there are 2 axostyles they are saying. There are 1 pair of axostyles. Then there are parabasal bodies. Can you see? These are the parabasal bodies or the medial bodies. These 2 here you can see circle. They are the parabasal bodies or the median bodies. And they have motility. These are flagellated intestinal protozoa. They are flagellated intestinal protozoa. So obviously they are, what did I say? They have motility because they are flagellated. They have motility which is like falling leaf, something like this. Falling leaf. You know how a leaf, when it falls, it turns and falls. When you look at the Giardia in the microscope in the stools, they'll be turning like the leaf, okay? It's kind of interesting. You watch some other YouTube video for this. It's really interesting, okay? to see the motility of these organisms in stool, be it Giardia, be it Strongylides stercoralis, be it any other parasite, movement when you see, whether bacteria also, if you see movement, motile bacteria, when you see it's kind of, it gives you goosebumps. So Giardia is one of them which gives you goosebumps. It will show you falling leaf motility, okay. Then coming to the cyst. Cyst is this one, guys. This is the cyst. The cyst is actually ellipsoid. You can see it is ellipsoid. Actually, it is the infective form. It is the infective form, guys. The cyst is the infective form. There are 2 pair of nuclei. That means totally 4 nuclei are there. You can see 4 nuclei, and axostyle is there. There is an axostyle there. In this, they have labeled it as axoneme. Okay, so this was the morphology of Giardia lamblia. Okay, morphology of Giardia lamblia is now over. Okay, so now do you think it's fine for us to move on to move on within this thing, that is Giardia lamblia? What are we studying? Giardia lamblia. Shall we move on? What is the next thing we have to study? The life cycle. Okay. So life cycle, actually man is the single host, okay. Man is the only host for Giardia. The infective form is the mature cyst, and the infective dose is just like 10 cysts. If they take, they will become infective, okay. So let us look at the life cycle now. I will try to explain everything in this diagram only, okay. Now, man is here. See the mode of transmission for Giardia. He ate contaminated food, water. Sometimes sexually, in male homosexuals it can transmit sexually, and some people are extremely susceptible to this giardiasis. Example, people who have blood group A. Okay, I don't have blood group A, so obviously I am not susceptible that much to giardiasis. And people who have blood group A are quite susceptible, and people who have chronic pancreatitis, people who have immune defects, people who have immune defects will be prone to so many diseases. That's kind of not required to write, I felt. Okay, if they have immune defects, they're susceptible. If they have malnutrition, they're susceptible. Okay, all that, okay. So man, mode of infection, you saw contaminated food and water. So what is he ingesting? This mature cyst is the infective form. So this is the mature cyst. It has 4 nuclei. So now he consumed this. Now it will go where? It will go to his small intestine, correct? So now the whole point is it has to go to the small intestine. Now in the small intestine, what happens? This is the small intestine. You can see that there is excistation, that the cyst is coming out of this shell, okay, whatever the egg shell or whatever shell you call it, it's coming out of the shell, the cyst shell, sorry. It is coming out of it, and one cyst gives 2 trophozoites. This is very unique, right? You never heard of something like this. One cyst is giving 2 trophozoites. That is the only thing speciality in Giardia.
One cyst gives 2 trophozoites. Giardia lamblia.
Yeah, that's right. In Giardia lamblia, this unique thing is there where one cyst gives 2 trophozoites, okay? So continuing with the life cycle, guys, here we are in the, now in the small intestine, what happens? In the duodenum, excistation happened. One cyst will give 2 trophozoites of Giardia lamblia. Trophozoite is the vegetative form. Now, one trophozoite, what happens? It becomes 2 trophozoites. How? By longitudinal binary fission. See, this is longitudinal binary fission. By longitudinal binary fission, one trophozoite multiply into 2, like the binary fission, okay, longitudinal binary fission. This is a very unique thing again, longitudinal binary fission. Now these trophozoites, they have suckling discs, correct? So they can adhere to the duodenal mucosa. They are sticking to the small intestine. Then what happens? These trophozoites, sometimes they are released to the lumen and they travel to the large intestine. In the large intestine, they become cysts, and these cysts are passed in the feces. That's all. Easy, right? And then again this entire sequence of infection continues. Life cycle of Giardia over. Now shall we move on? Okay. Pathogenicity. Pathogenicity and clinical features. That's what we wanted to look at this here. Pathogenicity and clinical features. So basically what happens, it is going to be in the lumen, right? So it does not invade the tissue, but it will stick to the intestinal epithelium by suckling disc. So what and all can happen? The villi of the intestine can be affected. The architecture of the villi can be affected. The villi cells can undergo apoptosis. There can be increased lymphatic infiltration. So a lot of lymph will come here into the intestine, you can see. Okay, then what happens? There is a variant specific surface protein, VSSP. The surface protein is going to help in the virulence of this Giardia. Then this is often asymptomatic. Sometimes for all of these almost you will say it is asymptomatic, but in if symptomatic cases, what will happen? There will be mucus diarrhea. Lot of mucus diarrhea will be there. So mucus diarrhea, guys, pay attention here. Here we are, mucus diarrhea. Diarrhea is the main thing you have to mention. Okay, in Giardia lamblia, if you don't mention diarrhea, then no marks. Diarrhea word should be there. There will be fat malabsorption. So the stools can contain a lot of fat and offensive odor. So this is steatorrhea, right? Steatorrhea will be there. Dull epigastric pain. So abdominal pain will be there. Flatulence, that means gas will be there. A lot of gas. Okay. So let us mark all this neatly. So what and all you should not forget, mucus diarrhea. Giardia may lead to mucus diarrhea, fat malabsorption, dull epigastric pain and flatulence. In this, diarrhea is so important, and diarrhea you should not at all forget. Okay. The stool will contain excess mucus and fat but no blood. It will not have blood, remember. It contains mucus and fat. Fat, we told you, steatorrhea. This is going to be, the stools are going to be offensive in odor. Malabsorption will occur in that person because he cannot, the villus architecture is lost, right? So he will have malabsorption. He will not absorb fat. He cannot absorb vitamin A, proteins, sugar. So basically he will become malnourished also. There will be a lot of weight loss, right? Weight loss will be there in this person. Now what will happen, this Giardia lamblia, not just the small intestine and then the large intestine, it can also affect the gallbladder. Okay, it can affect the gallbladder. So once it affects the gallbladder, there can be biliary colic and jaundice. So there can be biliary colic and jaundice. Jaundice can be there in this person because it is going to colonize the gallbladder. It can colonize the gallbladder and it can cause jaundice. Gallbladder we'll write in green because it's green. Jaundice we have to actually